always asked, when are we going to use this? And most times people ask me questions and then I give them an answer and then they don't actually like my answer. So I'm going to explain why polynomials are useful. And I think I've actually come up with such a great example that you're going to have to care. You're really going to have to appreciate this. So let's say at some point in time you grow up and you decide that you are going to build decks and patios, and then you get money for it, and that's always good. Always getting money is always good. So here's the deal. When you build a patio off of a deck, you'll probably want the two to be the same size. However, we don't know how big the patio is going to be, and we don't know how big the deck is going to be. So what I did was this. I know that it says I build decks and patios for houses to sell. The length of the patio is always 5 feet longer than the width. So here's my length, and you can see that it's 5 feet more than the width. My width, I don't know how big the width is. That depends on the customer. So if the customer wants my width to be 10 feet, the length would be 10 plus 5, which is 15 feet. So if they're always rectangles, which means that this side is going to have to be x plus 5, and this side is going to have to be x plus just x. So here's the deal. If I want to put up a little fence around my patio, I would say, well, I need to know how much fencing do I need for the patio. So patio fencing. And by doing that, what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to figure out the perimeter of the patio. So the perimeter would be x plus x plus 5 plus x plus x plus 5. Now, I can now combine like terms, and I can, let's see, I can add up all of my x's, and I get my perimeter is going to be 4 x's, and then I add up all my constants plus 10. So that's the patio fencing. Let's say I need fencing for my deck as well. So the deck fencing. Well, the deck fencing is going to be x plus 5. Oh, goodness me. 2x, and this is going to be x plus 5. So I get 2x plus x plus 5 plus 2x plus x plus 5. And now what I get is I get my perimeter is going to be, I'm going to add up all my x values. So 2x plus x. 2x plus x, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 x's, and then I'm going to add my constants, I get plus 10. Which means, let's say I have a customer, and all of a sudden my customer says, oh, my patio is 20 feet long. Well, I want the patio to be 20 feet. So I would say x equals 20 feet. Which means the amount of wood I would need for my patio would be 4x plus 10. It would be 4 times 20 plus 10, which would be 80 plus 10. I would need 90 feet of fencing for the patio. But if I wanted to find out, well, then I would have to find out how much fencing do I need for the deck. So I have, the perimeter was 6x plus 10. And I'm still working with my 20 feet. And that would be 6 times 20 plus 10. And I'd say 120 plus 10, which is, I would need 130 feet of fencing just for my deck. Now, remember, if I'm going to be fencing in both of them, I would then take 90 feet for my patio and 130 feet for my deck. And I would add them together, and I'd get 220 feet of fencing. But there's even another way we can do this, and this is the part that's actually quite interesting. What I just did was I added the perimeter here. I added the perimeter here, and then I added the perimeter here, and I got my total perimeter. Well, I want the total perimeter, so that's going to be the perimeter of the patio plus the deck. And what's kind of interesting about that is it's going to be 4x plus 10 plus 6x plus 10, which means my parameter for the entire project is going to be 4x's plus 6x's is going to be 10x plus 20. Now, that x, remember what that x actually means. That x is really how long the side is. The side could be any length. In our example, we're saying the side was 20 feet. If x equals 20, then this would be, the perimeter would be 10 times 20 plus 20, which is 200 plus 20, which is 220 feet, which we already knew. We already knew that. But the reason why this is helpful is once we have this formula here, that will be true no matter what we do, no matter how big our deck is. So this formula here represents the amount of fencing I would need to enclose my deck and my patio. And it depends, the actual amount depends on how long, how wide the patio is. So how wide the patio is. And that's why combining like terms is super duper useful. I am going to do a second video using the same exact example, and it's going to be looking at area as well. All right. So this is video 1.